I get a lot of comments on the channel from brothers who say they're not getting exactly what they want out of their Masonic experience. Well, behind me is a portrait of Shepards Tavern from Charleston, South Carolina. This is where the Supreme Council first met and got together in 1801. Now there's an artifact from that original building that is now here inside our House of the Temple. And that artifact has a little lesson for all of us about improving not only our Masonic experience, but our lives in general. And if you're one of those guys who maybe isn't getting exactly what you want out of Freemasonry, the lesson that this artifact can teach us might be exactly what you need. So stick around till the end of the video and we'll bring it all together. Welcome to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry channel. I'm Maynard Edwards, 33rd degree. Thank you for joining us. Shepards Tavern. It's where the Supreme Council originally got together in 1801 and formed what we know of today as the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. The building itself was built around 1720 and opened by a guy named Charles Shepherd, obviously Shepards Tavern. And it was a tavern, so yes, they sold adult beverages. However, they were a lot more than that. Taverns back then had a lot more purposes than just the local watering hole. It was the post office. It was a place where people could go and see plays. It was a place where town councils would meet. And this particular building was the place where the very first Masonic lodge in South Carolina met. And that lodge is still around today, and they still meet, although not in this building because this building burned down at the end of the 1800s. There's a marker there where it once stood, but in 1801, the Supreme Council got together and formed the Scottish Rite. Obviously, a lot of the records and things that we have from that time have been maintained and are in our extraordinary House of the Temple Library here in Washington, D.C. And there are even a few artifacts from that building and from those original Supreme Council sessions that have made it here to the House of the Temple. And many of them can teach us some extraordinary lessons. Now here's a for instance. This is from 1804, and this is a handwritten copy of some of our earliest rituals. And this was handwritten and given over to the Supreme Council of France so that they could get their own version of the Scottish Rite going, which they did. So inside here are some truly important Masonic lessons. And if you look at the top here, you can see the original Supreme Council seal, handwritten. So the lessons and the ideas in this are absolutely priceless. But even though this is one of the coolest artifacts we have, the one I want you to take a look at is arguably more important because it's still in use today, and it is that lesson that is going to give you that little extra something to get out of your Masonic experience. So come with me. Did you see it? We walked right past it and you might have missed it, but it is a really important artifact for a few reasons. It is this humble door knocker. This door knocker is the original door knocker from the Supreme Council chamber at Shepards Tavern in Charleston, South Carolina. When the Supreme Council originally opened, that door knocker was the door knocker that was used to alert the council that someone was at the door ready for admission. And that door knocker is now on the outside of the room I'm in now, which is our executive chamber where the Supreme Council meets today. So the same door knocker that called them to attention in 1801 is still used in 2024 to call the Supreme Council to attention when they meet together in the executive chamber. Not only is this humble door knocker a really cool artifact because it's still in use and it's the original one, but it has a really important lesson to teach all of us, especially if you're one of those guys who says he's maybe not getting all that he could out of his Masonic experience. When you first came into a Masonic lodge, you had to ask someone if you could join. You had to take a proactive step. And then when it was time for you to be initiated or to become a fellow craft or to become a master mason, you had to knock on the door of the lodge and ask to be let in. There's a lesson in this for all of us, and the lesson is you have to be proactive in life. You have to take that first step. You have to go to the door and knock so that it can be opened for you. If you're a Mason and you're in your lodge and you're sitting on the sideline and you're waiting for someone to come and tell you what to do, you might wait a little bit. But if you stand up and you say, I'm here, I'm ready, let me pitch in. Tell me what I can do. Show me where I can be helpful. If you take that proactive step, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much more you get out of your entire Masonic experience. And that lesson can be applied throughout your life. Doors are opportunities. They're openings. They are a place to move forward in your life. So whether you're trying to move forward in your career, in your relationship, as a parent, whatever it is, you need to be proactive. You need to knock on that door and say, I'm here. Let me in. I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to go on this journey, whatever it may be. So whether it's with your kids or your spouse or with your lodge, knock on that door. Tell them you're there. Let them know you're ready to come in and get started on the next part of that journey in your life. Now, this can seem like an oversimplification, but I promise, if you give it a shot, you will be surprised at how well this works. The lesson of this little door knocker is for all of us to be proactive, to take that first step, and to be ready to knock on those doors and step into those opportunities as they come to us in life. I'd love to know what you think about this, brothers. Drop a comment below, give us a shout out to your lodge, and don't forget, subscribe to the channel. I'm Maynard Edwards, 33rd degree. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you want to help us preserve Masonic history, then click that link right there and learn about our Lost Media Archive. And if you want to watch another great Masonic video, click there to subscribe to the channel.